Teachers of Reddit, what's the difference between 1999, 2009, and 2019 students? Devices and helicopter parenting, which doesn't mean parents who are intensely concerned about their children's futures, but parents who never leave their dang kids alone. I am guilty of secretly enjoying watching parents of students who graduated with my daughter last year having complete meltdowns now watching the children they diligently helicoptered become the drunk party animal failing all their classes students. Karma may bite me over it, but I hated watching them give their kids zero leeway to enjoy any part of their lives. My dad taught middle school from 1968 to 2004. When he retired, I asked him what changes he saw in students from the beginning of his teaching career to the end. He answered, "The kids never changed. A teenager is always a teenager." The parents, however, changed dramatically. They used to respect teachers and side with us in disciplinary matters, but now they think their kids are perfect and we are wrong. Glad I'm getting out before it gets worse. 1997. You won't always have a calculator with you everywhere you go in life. 2017. Before beginning the test, every student must disable the multifunction calculator that goes with them everywhere in life. Once you hit college, you better have brought your calculator, mother sucker. No, we don't have one for you to borrow. No phones. Small phones. Big phones. But I rocked a rad pager during my senior year in 1997. 97. Sarcastic. Grungy. Smoking more cigarettes. More cliquey and edgy. 07. Petty. Attention starved. Overwhelmed. But much nicer. 17. Under so many layers of irony and memes they don't even know who they are anymore or care. There's no point in being creative or devolving a personality. Anything you could think of has already been done. Your everyone in school lives on 7 layers of irony and I love it. Going to sound like an old man here, but when I was in high school in 1997 we had a system where various teachers' aides would photocopy all of the notes, answer keys, homeworks, etc. and put into an unused locker. My whole class, even the future valedictorian, used that locker. I'd imagine cheating efforts have advanced since then. As a college instructor, teaching all of them right now, taking those years as 1 year removed from HS graduation. 97. I'm taking school seriously to better myself and my career. 07. I should have not taken all those gap years. C's get degrees. 17. Oh crap, if I don't get at least a master's I'm going to be made redundant by a robot. 17. Checkout. I teach English at a rural high school. The biggest issue for 2017 students is that they have almost zero self-confidence. I don't know if this is a product of culture, or if this is just a fluke with my students. However, they are unwilling to try anything challenging or new without an extreme amount of one-on-one guidance, and that's very difficult to give in a classroom of 30. Failure in the past was mostly accepted and treated as an indication the student didn't understand the concept. Failure was a teaching tool. Now failure is seen as a character flaw, so parents don't teach kids how to come back from it. They are just taught to avoid it at all costs. The 2017 students don't seem so alive. 1997. Colorful hair and piercings. 2007. No colorful hair. Lots of tattoos. 2017. Colorful hair and tattoos. I teach in college. Oh, the other difference was 1997. No one talked about being gay. 2007. Students came out to me privately in my office. 2017. Students talk about being gay in class. 97. Quit passing notes. 07. Quit texting. 17. Are you seriously watching Netflix right now? Just about here. Once unlimited data comes into play through mobile service or the school's Wi-Fi is fast enough and doesn't care about blocking it. Senior pranks in 1997 were outlandish and acceptable. Senior pranks in 2007 were less common and more basic. In 2017 senior pranks are illegal. Our seniors all set alarms for the same time on the same day. The principal said over the PA they had 3 minutes before they started cutting locks off and confiscating phones. 97. You can have the pager back at the end of the day. 07. You can have the cell phone back at the end of the day. 17. Okay, everyone go to Google Classrooms on your tablets and pull up today's links. TI-83 is still king. Nah, TI-84s are far more prevalent in my HS, especially the new sim ones. I wasn't old enough to teach yet in 1997. I was 4 years out of high school, young and naive. In 2007, students were semi-glued to their phones, but the technology to integrate them into the classroom, Twitter accounts, Facebook, Snapchat, etc. wasn't there, not was it encouraged in any way through administration. There was still a phones away rule. For the most part, the students in my tech courses at the college I was working were older, either getting RA certified, new degrees, or simply enhancing their current skills with newer ones. I would put most of the ages in the late 20s to mid 30s. In 2017, I have young students right out of high school. It's rare now that I have an older student. Most of these students come in with at least basic knowledge of technology, hardware, software, but more often than not they are even more advanced than that. It's interesting how the tech group got so much younger and more skilled, while the older group, I don't know. Do they not move forward anymore? Are they switching to different careers? Different consoles used to play Pokemon. The connection between all generations. Pokemon. My mother is an educational assistant, works with special needs students in the classroom. As policies changed, more and more mentally disabled students have been integrated into classrooms at the same time that funding has been cut from the EA program. It is also common to have extremely poor behavior children misdiagnosed as autistic, when it is more of an issue on the parent's end. An example would be a situation where the transient dad was into MMA and bonded with the child through roughhousing. The 6-year-old then ruled over mom in the house because mom couldn't control the kid. No bedtime, eat what they wanted or risk a violent tantrum. This child was initially misdiagnosed with autism, which the parents hid behind that diagnosis as a justification for poor enforcement of behavior. They also resisted the school's recommendations for the child to be sent to the special behavioral program at a different school for a very long time, at no additional cost. Paid transport for the student via taxi, etc. She had diaper-trained students in kindergarten before. When my mom started her job, she actually taught these students basic skills, obviously student dependent, based on their issue and level of cognition. Now her job is almost entirely behavior management. It's gone from how can I teach this child to what schedule and methods can we use to prevent a meltdown. She generally gets kicked, sworn at, and bruised every day from elementary age special needs students who are suffering from lack of support in schools and at home. She's not a very strong lady, and is at major risk of injury from using holds to restrain these students when they are at risk of hurting themselves or other students. The other faculty seem to have adopted the ministry's stance that the EAs are non-essential. She's worked at schools where they were not permitted at staff meetings. To clarify, this is more the principal who adopted this stance. The teachers are extremely supportive and work with my mother and defend EAs. Parents now turn against them, because all they hear from their behavioral child is that Mrs. is mean. The student goes home and tells mom that Mrs. wouldn't let them eat and mom gets mad. She's trying to tough it out until retirement in 6 years, but she hates her job every day. It's not the same one she signed up for. I have a friend whose mother does the same job. She's bruised up all the time and has to conceal them in public so people won't think her husband beats the crap out of her. Graduated HS in 93. Taught middle school. I noticed a definite change regarding phone social media. Went through the whole adjustment of no one having a phone to trying to enforce rules about phones to just dealing with them. From a teacher's perspective, I'd like to smash the crap out of their phones when they are using them in class. Kids think they are sneaky. Some are really not. Anyway, went from kids being dongs about phones to now being cool and better about being polite about it. Definitely more parental involvement now as opposed to 10 years ago. I feel students today want to be told exactly what to do and won't risk trying to figure it out on their own. My husband just hired 2 assistants who are 22 and 23 in his job. He says they are constantly needing guidance for stuff they should be able to figure out on their own. It's just interesting that he is seeing it as well and has nothing to do with education. Students today are more aware of social issues, Most kids in 1997 weren't thinking about equality and immigration or anything political. Now kids are much more informed and mostly more tolerant. Kids today do not seem to care about being outside as much. Probably BC the media overdose has everyone convinced there's a pervert or murderer behind every bush. I find myself spending ridiculous amounts of time on my phone looking at Reddit and other digital entertainment. It is strange to realize how it feels like a waste of time. In 1997 this was not a problem. So, it is not just changing students, it is a change in all of us. Teaching has certainly become a lot cooler as far as the technology goes, not so much with the administrative interference. 97. Little regard to terrorism. 07. Remember 9/11? 17. Can you explain what 9/11 was? I wasn't born yet. As a history teacher, it's been interesting and difficult trying to instill the gravity of events to people who weren't even born at the time. I imagine it was a similarly strange scenario for teachers who taught during the attack on Pearl Harbor or the assassination of JFK. It's strange to have major life events turn to just another historical story for kids within a few short years. At the same time, it gives me motivation to keep teaching with the same passion as if the events just happened, so kids continue to understand its importance. Everybody is going tech, so I'll go with cultural. All teens rebel. They all think they have it right and the grown-ups have it wrong. But they show it differently. In 97 the prevailing word was anger. I hate the way things are. Kids were harsher, meaner. Being nasty was the way to show you're cool. I saw a lot of kids get their kicks out of breaking the Santa illusion for grade schoolers, for example. 17 kids are much nicer to each other. Think of the music of the time. Smashing Pumpkins, Nin, and the like. In spite all my rage, I am still just a rat in a cage. In 07 the word was mope. Kids were softening up, being nicer to each other, but also getting more into the sadness is beautiful kind of thing. They weren't angry at the adults so much as they just wanted them to go away and hide into their hoodies. Leave me alone to my solitude. Consider the way emo was huge at this time. In 17 kids are much nicer to each other. They're kinder to young kids and friendlier in general. But there's this strange undercurrent of competition to be the most good person, which leads to the weird yes mayonnaise is a gender if that's how you identify kind of thing. In 2017 kids want to explain to the grown-ups how they're all bigots. They also handle failure far worse than previous generations. 17 kids try harder and genuinely want to succeed in ways that the 97 kids didn't. In 1997 you were cool if you avoided working hard and didn't care if you failed. But 97 kids also recovered from adversity faster. They didn't bruise as easily. They were harder, meaner kids, but also didn't quit as easily and thrived on constructive criticism. Now there's bits of each of these personality types in every year. There were nice kids who were also soft in 97, and there are mopey emo types now. But the prevailing culture shifted these ways. I feel like this was what was portrayed in 21 Jump Street. I see a lot of people in this thread mentioning how high schoolers these days aren't as creative or don't take risks as often or can't figure stuff out on their own. I'm a high school senior, and I can only speak from my perspective. But for me, I'm hesitant to take risks because the consequences are so great. Let's say that I wanted to take a challenging IB class and try to push myself a little harder. If I fail or get a poor grade, that drags down my GPA and can seriously mess up my options for the future. If college admissions see a 3.0 and a 3.2 from applicants from the same background, they'll probably take the 3.2. So bam. Because you took a risk, you can't get into the college you wanted to. Colleges don't see that you challenged yourself and took a risk and learned from your failure. They see the failure itself and dismiss you for it. That mindset, one of, you have to be perfect and don't mess this up or else, is one that I see all over. So much is expected of me that it's hard to take risk and deal with failure because not only do you have yourself to beat up over it, but everyone around you also berates you for it. It's hard to take risks when it seems like your entire self-worth and future is at stake. Standard disclaimer, I was not in school before the 2000s. This is my experience as a student and member of the younger generation. Electronics. Hands down. They are the most wonderful gift and the biggest handicap at the same time. Too many students use them as crutches or distractions instead of using it as a tool. Like this video and this good boy will play you a nice song. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.